welcome
Yeah,
Senator.
yeah, it was really nice. Yeah.
Good morning, Dave. The other David, how are you today? My wife says my email didn't go out yesterday, but I know it went out, so I sent it out a second time. And of course, I'm kicked off Facebook. I've been kicked off Facebook for a couple days, so I didn't do any, I didn't tag Sir James. I've been posting for my wife's account for a couple days, so this week's meeting wasn't promoted like it typically is, but that's okay. Because we're all learning that sometimes technology works great, sometimes it doesn't work, but you still have to show up. And I'm manually texting
How to get
people.
back on?
I'm sorry, David.
Did they give you a way how to get back on?
I when I log into Facebook right now, this is great. It's recording, so it's great for anybody growing Facebook community. I have over 6,000 followers, so of course I know people in Canada, amazing people in the United States, amazing people in Dubai, right? But
Mhm.
when I log in right now, it just tells me my Facebook charge processed the payment for meta verification Thursday, 1:33 a.m. I was subsequently banned at that time because I had friends in Texas calling me to say, "Hey, we can't find you on Facebook." And I'm like, "Okay, that kind of sucks because we just started doing an estate sale and I had just posted 100 items on Facebook Marketplace and I had sales that I had completed, but I didn't have people's
Mhm.
phone numbers or email addresses. So that's a little bit detrimental to business when you're building a business and you don't have all the contact details for your people. So suggestion is when you're talking to people, make sure you've got their emails and phone numbers because if they get wiped off social media, they may not be coming back. So when I go log into Facebook, it just tells me I'm locked and I have to wait up to 180 days for them to contact me.
Oh, there you go.
Yes. So, but my friend Jennifer, who runs a business in Texas, she was also banned at the same time, and she's also Meta verified and Instagram verified, and she can't get in. So, yesterday, after using, I've mentioned to some of you that I've been building my own chat bot because we have a cybersecurity. One of our businesses is cybersecurity. We know many people like asking ChatGPT for help. So we've built our own chat bot because I want you to get technology support from me that is customized to you and your business and your particular application. We want seniors to test it. We want everybody to test it out because I've cloned my brain into this chatbot. Anyway, I was playing with my chatbot yesterday and I'm like, can you find any way to open up a ticket with Meta? We figured out that I could report that I was hacked and I went through that process and then I did a video verification. I got some progress with that method yesterday. It told me they'll contact me within 48 hours. Hopes are not up, but it is more progress than I was making previously. So if it works, I'll document it and share it with the world. Because that's what I do. It's fix people's problems, whether it's technology or fixing their YouTube account and getting them to 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours. And that's what YouTube University this Saturday, 9 a.m. Zoom call is all about, is encouraging you to keep making content, becoming omnipresent by getting your content on YouTube and everywhere else on the internet. So when people search for you, they can find you. That's why on my YouTube account, my phone number is listed on the banner because I know that people may just want rather call me than watch my videos. So I'm open to communication with everybody who needs my brand of expertise, right? So it is officially YouTube University Week 21 is officially started. So I am going to keep inviting people on text message. That should be here, but we got a very small class today. But that's because I didn't promote well enough because I've been banned from Facebook. We got a special guest. So I was just in Chicago to release book number 4 of mine. It's a compilation book with Dr. Martha Razzo. I walked into the Matrix Club and I ran into my friend James. And James, I know, is very busy. He's got many businesses and he also has his own media production company. So I don't know that much about James because I've only run into him a handful of times in the in the same city. So that means we need to connect and learn more about each other because I'm sure he has so much wisdom to share with us. So, uh, James, did you want to introduce yourself? And I'm gonna go see if I can get some more people to show up for class, and we'll go from there.
Well, first of all, I'm always honored to get a chance to speak and share. It was great seeing you. And I had no clue about what I was showing up to do, but I'm
Perfect.
always ready. So it's always good. It's always good. I love people, and I love the fact that, even when I've been training speakers now for 32 years, I'm sure you heard Daniel Gomez as well. He's one of my students that came through my class about 8 years ago.
Oh, okay, I didn't know
Chris
that about
Allen.
him.
Oh,
I got
yeah.
his phone number, so
Yeah.
I'll
Yeah, he came to my course many, many years ago, about 8 years ago, and I was used to coach Les Brown for a long time. We've been great friends for over 32 years, and many other folks. So I actually a position in many things. Where do you want me to start? Geez, it's easier to go to Google.
Yeah, it's one of those things. Well, of course, the reason I started YouTube University is because we have our own YouTube media production company in New Jersey called Mupo Entertainment, right? And as we've grown that and looked for investors and looked for talent and for people to come on and make their own TV shows, I kept running into the recurring thing of finding podcasters, people with their own show,
Hmm.
they don't seem to get any traction, then they give up.
Right.
And we really want, since I built a few of my own shows on this other entertainment company, and then I put them on YouTube, and I had a lot of traction on YouTube, and then, I was able to get into the very small club of the Mo YouTube partner program. So I'm monetized, I make money from YouTube, but you need 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours. So it's a very small unicorn club of
Right.
YouTube content creators who get to that level. So I'm like,
Yeah.
if I was able to do it and I have a repeatable process and my wife was able to do it and I have other monetized accounts, we can
Yeah.
share this wisdom with the world and help
Mhm.
them and help business owners, influencers elevate themselves. So I need to go and find all the people around the world who are struggling with becoming famous, and we're going to make them YouTube famous. But the first couple classes, you need story ideas. Even if you're interviewing somebody, you still need a basis. What is this conversation going to be about? So, story ideas, scripts, on-screen presence, which means you have to hit the record button and get in front of the camera and start talking. And if you fresh and brand new at that, it's not going to be great. And you're just going to have to, you train speakers. So, you know, this is what this class is about is
Got
encouraging
it.
people to just get started. You're not going to be famous overnight. It's
Yeah.
likely 10,000 hours minimum of sweat equity that you have to put in. You have to talk to people. Not everybody's going to like you. You're going to get rejected. People are going to tell you look funny, all that fun stuff. But you keep going and then you build the audience and then you deliver your message.
Yeah.
So when people go to fight, they'll
Got
run into you at networking events and not be sure who you are, and they're gonna like me when I first met you, and it's like, okay, if you're Dr. Martha's friend, then you're my friend, and I'm gonna look you up and see what you've done. And I'm like, wow, there's so much stuff you show up on the internet, and that is our whole goal is help people get
Yeah.
their content on YouTube and
Yeah.
repurpose it everywhere so that way when they're building their business, building their connections, people they can get found, even if they get deleted off Facebook. So,
Okay. Got it. Okay. So now I can answer your question.
okay.
All right, I'm going to walk you through a journey. I want to try to make it very brief, but they all connect. First of all, congratulations to you and for everyone here. Whatever your gold medal talent is, whatever you do really well, you can monetize. And especially now in this age of technology, when the world is really changing, it's very exciting. Some people are nervous, have anxiety. Some people just befuddled, don't know what's really going on. Other people just ignoring it as well. But when I started out as an entrepreneur, actually, I started running restaurants throughout the state of Texas, Georgia, and in Illinois. And I was really good at it. I was the youngest general manager in a restaurant chain, the youngest regional, youngest district. I started at 18 years old, actually in management, running my own restaurant. So I got really good at P&L, people development. and building relationships. Coming from Chicago and living in Midland, Odessa, Abilene, Houston, Dallas, parts of Atlanta. I found that people, we all really pretty much want the same things. No matter what viewpoint we start at, everybody wants the same thing. So I'm a relationship individual, more relationship than transactional. After running several businesses, after building and running these multi-million dollar restaurants, I went into business for myself. I ran several companies. I had a lot of success. I didn't like the fact that it was linear. I was trading so much time for money. I had no life whatsoever, and I was really miserable about that. And then someone tricked me to get involved in network marketing and home-based businesses, which I detested. But I ended up making $20 million. So I love it, and it loved me right back. So helping companies to grow, I actually owned a company at one time. 3 years later, we sold that, learned how to create those exits. And then companies would bring me in to train leadership. I was really good on the stage. I learned it there, starting with a living room of 7 people to in rooms of 25,000 people all over the world. So I've been in front of over 1 million people. And so for me, when social media came out, I was trying to avoid it for a long, long time. I just tried to do good work. Because in my life and my frame of the way I do business, I never made money without helping other people create success. Just never did it. So that's the only way I'm kind of built that way, and built not to make excuses no matter what. It's a higher calling. It's never about money. It's really about expression. It's just about expression. I believe in God. I believe in a higher power, and I don't put a limit on it. So it's not about money. It's about what's next and how do you recreate and being in the nature of created creation itself. So I'm kind of like stacked there. Now, through my years, I got involved in, well, I've been training speakers in the psychology of communication and influence for a long, long time. And through my journey, I met a gentleman who was, well, he was introduced to me. He called me up out of nowhere, and people have been talking about me, and I got into the philanthropic arena, which I fell in love with. And there was an organization called First United for Humanity, which we had a TV program called Give. A lot of celebrity based, a lot of TV stars and business owners. Kevin Harrington was part of that as well. I had known Kevin for like 20 years. And then an organization called the City Gala City Summit. And when they asked me to participate, I said, no, I don't want to come down there. And he said, well, I can't give you a speaking place, but you could be on a panel. And I said, no, I don't want to spend $1,500 a ticket to come and be on a panel. And I said, if I can't speak, who's speaking? And he said, Halle Berry, John Travolta, Russell Simmons, Quincy Jones. And I said, I'll be there. Because I understood proximity. And, Halle Berry, John Travolta, what else can you say? So my wife, myself, my vice president, Jose Baeza, we all flew down, had a great time. I spoke, but when you're speaking, you learn how to take a few words. Unfortunately, that's not happening now, but a few words and take it a long way. So after I spoke, they asked me to come back and meet with them, which I did. And they helped me move from being on the board of nonprofits to starting our own organization called Already Always Amazing, serving children, veterans, and seniors. They gave me the first legacy award they'd ever given out. That was the biggest award. And I became the face of the organization. And I passed that on to Les Brown, Richard Dreyfuss, Demi Moore. Anytime there was somebody who came there, the awards came through me. When I got mine, I was there with Matthew McConaughey, Ashton Kutcher, but they highlighted me and made me the biggest award. So it kind of took off from there and built a lot of great relationships with major corporations. As a speaker, I could teach communication and culture in corporate or individuals or people who wanted to monetize further. Because even if you have an organization, you have to know how to communicate and not just speak into the listening, but even into the nervous system of another human being. It works well with relationships, especially. So, how to be present. So, I've been training speakers for like 30 years. And then I was given a call because of my work in philanthropic arena, and I was asked if I wanted to be a knight. And I understood what that meant because I'd spent time in Bangladesh and just all over the world. And I know many people have knighted, and I grew up with that swashbuckler King Arthur pull a sword out the rock type thing. So I said, what does it involve? And it was right up my wheelhouse with philanthropy and making a difference. So I was knighted about 6 years ago by Prince Raphael in the Royal and Sovereign House of Cappadocia, Constantine the Great, and St. Helen. And Constantine was the first ruler of Rome who made Christianity the religion of Rome, and that's when it went to England. So he ended up becoming an actual Christian. His mother was a saint. So I became a knight. And then I was the grand prior of Illinois, which is governorship. Then I was asked to, they moved me into the royal house to become a baron. So I was the first African American baron ever. They started in 312 AD. I was the first baron in the United States, period. And now I am the grand prior general, so I run everything in the country. And our whole focus is faith, hope, charity. How do we help make the world a little bit better? How do we do that? So we're building out our own city in Belize. We have 64 square miles, and we're building that. We're about to launch an embassy November 19th in DC for Cappadocia. So we'll start off with our own embassy. United Nations is on board with our plans to build out this incredible city. And we're building out the chapter, bringing people together with like minds, like hearts, skills, gifts. And how do we work better to enhance the trajectory of people that want to enroll and be a part of our mission, but also humanity most importantly. Last but not least, in 2020, well, I've been through cancer. I'm 7 years cancer free. I've been through sarcoidosis, used natural products and remedies for both. So no surgery, no chemo. So I'm thankful for that. And it taught me a lot of lessons. It helped me to be able to have different conversations with different people about different things in a different space. Because instead of just saying, I'll pray for you, I can tell you, let's talk about it. I understand. Let me tell you what I did, and let's see what can happen and the quality of life and how you can still show up in the midst of things that some people want to put their head in a pillow and just go there. No, we go here because life is always to be lived to its fullest. So from there, during COVID, I had to have a hip replacement because of some meds they gave me, like prednisone, and made me gain a lot of weight. I had to get a hip replacement. So in 2020, I decided, since no, the speakers couldn't speak anywhere, and all the great speakers were trying to borrow money, and I'd always built residual income. I said, well, why don't we start our own streaming network, an edutainment platform, which is limitless.net. So we started Limitless, and we had great success. And we were not only we looked at YouTube model, which is an incredible model, and we looked at these $3 trillion businesses and found out that everyone who was really rocking it had subscription based business. So we launched it, but we did it in a way where the content creators own their own content, so they could see who was tuning into them, and they could market to them. They had their own content, they had their own dashboard, they could sell promotional items, their books, their tapes, their programs, create interactive groups. They could do pay per view there and everything there, and they would control that. And that was the key. And the toughest thing was really teaching them how to pivot to becoming not just a speaker, but the business person, but how to use YouTube with your shorts and use it strategically since the people are there, but then how to monetize it. Because we believe that your success is someone else's miracle. So it is important to make money. And it is important because it's attached to everything that we hold dear to our lives, like the roof over your head, so the car that you drive, all these, the gasoline that goes into that car. So we have to do that, especially now as the world is changing. So we've launched that network. We have a part of a sports network with youth football and women's football leagues. And now we're about to go into biohacking in January and launch another space to help, with innovation and technology, people are finding very innovative ways and non-invasive ways to heal yourself. Not to say surgery is not important, traditional medicine is not important. It's a place, but there's other alternatives that most people don't know about, like stem cell research and things of that nature. So, pretty much that's the short version of that. So, philanthropy and business, that's what I do. Part time, everything less than 40 hours a week.
Perfect. It's perfect because I've done a little bit of research on you, right? But
Mhm.
I'm running businesses, so I'm communicating with my clients all day, and I don't do enough outreach to friends who I've just met. But you brought up Kevin Harrington. So we both, well, I just saw him for the first time on stage in Chicago, and
Mhm.
it was interesting because, of course, I know he's a shark on Shark Tank, but knowing everybody's, I think it's super important for this YouTube university is to explain to everybody the origin story because you only get to your destination once you have problems to solve. There's always problems to solve, and we know the measure of business is you get paid the more money for the larger the problems that you solve, right? And Kevin was on, I wasn't aware of the Ginsu Knives connection or the Discovery Channel. just all the stories he weaved into it about how he, filmed infomercials for Ginsu knives because he saw the opportunity that there's this amazing product, but it needed to reach more eyeballs. And how did you need to reach more eyeballs? Well, that was back in the days of television where there was not enough content. And we're now starting to see that now is that everybody's looking for content and YouTube is free. And YouTube, if you have it, your platform subscription base, but YouTube is great way to get people to find you and then direct that traffic to their subscription channel, right? Because you give the teasers, the shorts, all the commercial stuff on YouTube because it has such a great reach, and then you can direct that traffic. It's one of my methods that I speak to creators, influencers about is I'm like, you need to make all, it's like my book. You make all these little bite-sized pieces, these business cards, you distribute them everywhere, and and then you funnel that traffic to where you want your messages, where your messages are being delivered, right?
Mhm.
So,
Yeah.
but then also with Kevin, so he was explaining how Discovery Channel only had, we all grew up, I think we're all at that age. We remember what TV was like. You'd run out of they'd run out of content, and then you just see the fuzz on the TV, the colored bars, and you're like, well, where's the rest of the programming? Well, you had to go find it or make your own. So, um, Kevin brought up the fact that TV is really you can see it, all the acquisitions and mergers happening right now. He brought up the whole reason Fox TV was sold to Disney was literally that it was costing Fox more money to produce content than they were receiving in advertising. So then they sold it.
Mhm.
And then, how much of the because my wife and I are certified YouTube partners, we go through YouTube training every single month right now. They've really been showing us the graphs that YouTube's the number one video platform on the internet. It changes. Sometimes it's Netflix, sometimes it's another one. But for the last 2 years, it's been YouTube for number one video platform. And the amount of TV viewers is cutting every single year. So eyeballs are leaving TV and they're
Yeah.
discovering new platforms. So it's great to get your content built and get it out there and then measure the results. And that's what we help our students with is get started, we'll measure the results and then figure out what your audience is looking for.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because my experience, I fix computers, we do cybersecurity, we make sure you don't get hacked. Is that what my audience really wants to hear from me, or do they want life stories or interviews or me documenting my travel between Canada and Dubai and America and Dubai? It's like, what does the audience want? And let's make some content and get feedback, right? So
If I would, if you don't mind,
go ahead.
I think it's important that everybody realizes that there are people there that are looking for you, but you're not findable yet. And you want to become findable because it's not about this network or that network. Even with YouTube, it's about building a community. And YouTube has mastered the art of creating a community without them even being involved in a community without putting a face in front of it. So and they work trillions of dollars because they have the data, because they found a way to give us value, because we want to be heard as human beings. The greatest power is the power of the connection, of human connection, to be expressed, to know that you have something and people want to get it. That's why we look at likes and things of that nature. But the key is no matter what you're doing, you build the community and you serve it. And that community comes together, and there's other people that will be a part of it that have other gifts. And then it just kind of evolves. It's like the caterpillar and the butterfly. When the caterpillar gets out the cocoon, looks at the butterfly and says, "You change." And the butterfly says, "You're supposed to." So it's always about evolving. That's my 2 cents.
I was gonna ask, so since I met you through Dr. Martha, who runs this amazing accelerator business summit in Naperville, Illinois, I said the right state. How did you get introduced to Martha?
Wow.
Life's all about connections.
Yeah.
This is all about connections. I'm bringing everybody who follows me into this room every Saturday morning, 9 a.m. Eastern. So
Well, actually, we were supposed to do that event together. It's just that I knew I had to travel, end up
Hmm.
taking a contract overseas, and I just wasn't able to keep that part of the commitment. But I actually got her to Kevin and brought Kevin there. Um, but Martha, was so impressed by her and her backstory with her family and with the pallets. And she had her first event in Tinley Park, the south suburb of Chicago. And I was invited to go there to, meet her and perhaps speak there. But again, my schedule conflict, so I didn't go, but I heard about it. And then her next event she had October last year. I was one of the sponsors there, and I was the keynote there as well, and we spoke there. And she's come to my speaker training as well.
Okay.
She's been to my training. And so we just kind of built this collaborative friendship and kinship as well, because she's such a great lady. If you're out there doing something great, there's enough for everybody. So I just wanted to be able to support her the best way I possibly could.
Okay. So I think it boils down to speaker training, right? Because I know when people ask me, they're like, okay, Mike, you're so busy. You've got this and this and this. I'm like, well, I'm just open to all the opportunities that are presented to myself
Yeah.
and to learn because, in order to be a business owner and be open to travel, you need to be open to flying into new cities, getting into new rooms, meeting new people, and just seeing how open people are to your messaging, what you do, and what feedback they give to you, right? So I'm constantly learning, adding new skills to my skill set. Then I was told, oh, okay, you need speaker training and you need to do this. And it's like, okay, so it's really a matter of getting on other people's stages, but if you creating your own first, right? And this is why a lot of people want to get on social media and get on in front of the camera. It comes up in our our regular YouTube class where people, they're afraid to get in the camera. They don't like what they sound like. And I'm like, you
Yeah.
just have to get over it
Yeah.
because you're on a stage and you got to know what you're going to talk about. Plus, interact, maybe speak about reading the room, reading the audience, because maybe that's something I struggle with because I've been on virtual stages, I've been in person stages, I've received a lot of feedback, and I tell people, give me feedback because the only way I can improve is feedback. If you give me nothing, but I don't get a standing applause, then I know it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think, first of all, 57% of communication is nonverbal. Everything in the universe communicates, even the things that you want. My last book, The Five Frequencies of High Performance, is really understanding frequency, vibration, and energy. So everything communicates. Number two is that how to use your voice like the soundtrack of a movie, how to create an experience. So you're not just speaking to the listening, that you can actually speak into the nervous system, but how to be present and be very authentic being present with another human being. Because once you understand how energy works, you can take that energy and you can drive that energy through a room of two or 20,000, and everyone will feel you. Even if you whisper, they'll be able to understand what you're saying. They'll hear you all the way in the back. So it's really understanding the psychology of it and then understanding. So it's not just speaking from a stage, it's even speaking to your children in a classroom, to your significant other, to yourself. How are you communicating to the trillions of cells that live inside of you when you're in conflict with your communication? You say you want this, but then you anchor in something else where I can't afford it. I want to be wealthy. Oh, I can't afford it. You're confusing on a cellular level. So in communication is about getting into agreement and creating a platform and agreement where, like when I ask a question, how many people here right now believe that there's more for you in your life? Show of hands or type yes in the chat. And what I simply did is ask a question where I know the answer is going to be yes. Okay. There are personality traits, and there are four basic personalities. We have all four, but we're anchored somewhere. So a lot of times people take these profiles and they understand their personality, but the key is how to speak to the person who is not like you and speak their language. Because if you don't, if I'm very serious minded and analytical and you want to seem to give me a bunch of hype, I don't want to hear that. But if I'm fun loving and I'm a creative and you give me a bunch of information, you're going to make my behind hurt. So how do you speak and how do you paint that? How do you just paint there and understand embedded commands and things of that nature? We even have improv to teach you how to ebb and flow so you can relax a little bit. And because you're just not just banter and bounce off of people and then on YouTube and on your video. Because when you're in that video, you're talking to a person that you can't see, but you better see them and tell them to sit up straight in their chair. And all the ones who are slumped over say, "Can you see me?" So you can have fun with it and look at what the best of the best are doing and then play on enhancing it. But look at what works and model that. But then learn how to use that voice. And if I can give you a quick example,
Go ahead.
all right. Let's say we've all seen horror movies, right? Let's say whether it be Jaws or whether it be Scream or any of those movies. And if you watch any movie, there's a soundtrack that anchors the emotion they want you to have in the scene. Okay, so Shark with Jaws would be dun, dun, dun. And that's the soundtrack is there to help along with the scene to bring your body to tension. Okay, so the slasher Michael Myers is up in his Halloween coming up. Okay, Jason's in the room. You know he's got to act. He went in the bathroom, and here comes a star, and she comes up the steps, and your body goes attention. She opens up the door, closes it, and there's no Jason. Your body comes down. And then she looks at the shower curtain and opens and turns the water on through the curtain. And surely there's no place else to be. And open up the curtain and he's not there. And it takes your body on a roller coaster, right? But there's music behind it to drive that emotion. So if you took that music and he jumped out with it with his and he wants a slasher, right? And he says, it would change the entire scene. So that's why when you use your voice, how are you breathing through those words? So we kind of do an intensive that go through all these things, whether it be the online course or the actual one, but it's really about how to get that hypnotic rhythm. So when you're speaking, no matter what that platform, when you want to, like every single day I wake up and just fall in love with my wife all over again. Let me trick her again and love me all over. Just start all over again every day and just play there. And if you learn to play there, you really get excited about working with your voice and you'll be able to pay attention when you start to slip back because then she'll let you know or he'll let you know or they will let you know, hey, this is not what I'm used to. And then you can come back to yourself and be authentic again and make the connection. So just look at when you go outside, look at everything in the universe, the leaves on the trees, the sky, breathe, relax. Whatever you ingest, you express. And when you breathe oxygen, you're breathing in every part of this world. So express it. And then when you get on YouTube or you get in front of that camera or whatever that stage will be for you, that you'll show up and you'll be a little bit different. I'm
That's perfect because we just wrapped up the YouTube training we just wrapped up over the last 12 weeks was about going live.
okay.
And so, of course, all these monetized creators come in. It was just like Zoom breakout rooms. They were like, well, what does everybody do and how do you engage with your audience? Because it's typically you don't see them. It's a faceless audience. It's you. You have an audience. It's one person showed up or 1,000 people showed up, depending on time of day, week, blah blah blah, all those variables. But your audience is going to leave you comments, and people are like, "Well, how do you react? Do you have a moderate? Like, how?" Not everybody's always 100% energized the whole time they're on the live, but they're on the live because it's discipline. They're on there. They have an audience whether or not they got something going on, a special message or whatever that day, but they're on there. There's people watching. That's the thing. It's, you know, uh, story and levels of your voice. Because of course, when you get into a rhythm of telling a story, you're going to be animated. Your voice
Mhm.
when you were going through stuff when you were going through your story there of your training, I'm like, that's exactly what Martha invited me into some training the other day while we were waiting for the book launch, and it was improv, speaking from stage, happy, sad, and I'm like, sounds like I don't know if that's what you trained her on, but it sounds like what Martha just trained me on. So
Well, it's all part of it. It's really when you're telling a story, first of all, when you read a book, learn to read it with your senses.
okay.
When you tell a story and you even look at your own life, there's a documentary of my life that came out 4 years ago. We premiered at the Imagine Theaters, and even through that process, it was 46 minutes long. They told me they would need 3 hours to get the fullness of it. But I missed things. And I learned that we live our life in sound bites and we forget certain things, which are very critical because it's almost like you're creating a recipe. And if you miss that pinch of salt, you change the outcome. So if we keep it connected, so learn to read and use your senses and learn to speak, and then bring people into the story to create an experience um, that it's like taking a person on a journey within themselves they cannot go on by themselves. And the key to do that is to use the word imagine. So if I were to ask, I could see two of your faces, three people here. If you hold your hand out like this, hold your hand out. Look at your hand, and I want you to imagine a red apple, and just nod your head if you can see the apple in your hand. Do you see it? Okay. Now turn the apple green. Turn it green. Is it green?
Yes.
Now turn it yellow. It's yellow.
Yes.
Yeah. See, everything in the world happens two times: the thought, the thing, the mental, the physical, the inner, and then the outer. Van Gogh said, I dreamed of my painting, and then I painted my dream. So when you're communicating, if you use the word imagine, then they have to enroll. The brain has to obey that. That's just one secret.
Okay. Okay. It's kind of like the visualization I do with my clients when they're like, because our main thing is, tech my main training's been technology, but of course, without seeing the end results,
Yeah.
people are very hesitant. And I'm like, like, and trust me, so trust me. And then you might get, because if they can't tangibly see the results,
Yeah.
and then I was like, okay, here's a visual diagram. I'll draw the picture out for you. But I'm even going to go one step further. We're going to go ahead and do it. And if you don't like it, I always have the backup plan. Like it's never, you never lose what you had with the
Mhm.
promise of the future. I'm giving you the future and you still have your backup plan of what you currently have. Because I was like, I realized I had to, you know, there is four different personalities, as we know from our friend Cherry Tree, but there's four subsets of each
Oh,
four.
here's a
So
good
there's
friend of
literally
mine.
16. And need to know the audience and exactly what it's funny because I've realized after 20, you're a little bit older, so I've got 20 years of doing consulting, and I was like, okay, after going through personality training, and of
Mhm.
course, messaging today is a lot different than what we had 10 years ago, right? So
Yeah.
there's um, email, phone, messaging on every social media, but of course, when you don't see their face and their body expression, you don't really know what tone of voice you have in that message unless it's all caps.
Wow.
So you're like, okay, I need to, as you're painting a picture for somebody, really understanding that audience member. That I
Yeah.
This is why we run this YouTube university because I'm like, okay, you are possibly famous on your street or in your little town running your business. That's an audience, but YouTube's a different audience, Facebook's a different audience. They might bleed over a little bit, but there's all these different audiences you're not tapping into. And the sky's the limit. Like you don't know who's out there, who's waiting to hear your message until you get on camera and start speaking to them and promote yourself, right? And then there's going to be the feedback that comes through the YouTube comments or an in-person stage when people are, when I was on stage with Martha for the book signing,
Yeah.
and some people just wanted your signature, and then others wanted personalized messages. And the ones who want the personalized messages, they wanted to communicate with you and ask you, phone number and how you could help them. It was real. I was like, okay, we took too long signing autographs. Martha's like, we're removing your chairs. You have to stand up to do it. I was like, I'm having, looking at somebody in the eyes, and I'm like, who's this book for?
Yeah.
And what help do you need from me today or tomorrow? And this is how you get a hold of me because, I gained that trust through Martha, and now I have a new audience member who wants to communicate with me, right? So,
Absolutely.
right, but
Absolutely.
I'm like, who's the audience?
Yeah.
There's a lot of doctors. Interesting. I already deal with a lot of doctors, but of course, there's so many, a variety of doctors, and they're all going to have different personality types, right?
Yeah. I was there as a trainer when Sherry Tree was learning how to step on stage. She also comes from the home-based business arena as well.
Oh
So
yeah,
she
I have followed her. I have her phone number. I've been watching her journey because
yeah.
I believe I met her a few months before I met you because I know she was doing the circuit of conferences last year. And then as soon as I met her, I'm like, okay,
Mm,
This is why I had trouble with this particular business owner or doctor because I've gone through Dale Carnegie training, I've gone through all personality trainings, I've done a lot of training in my life. That's why I've been in business for 20 years. I meet somebody and I'm like, hey, I think I need to learn something from you. So let's have a chat and you tell me what your program's like and let's see if I'm a fit.
yeah.
But then as
No.
soon as you learn information you didn't have before, you're like, light bulb moment. This is what happened with this situation, and this is what happened with this situation. And I'm a patient guy and always finding the middle ground with, communication with people. But there's still going to be challenges. There's still going to be friction
Hmm.
because of time of day, emotions, what's going on in the other person's life, right? So it's like, okay, I need to communicate with this person. And if they don't know what I'm really like because there's no content on the internet about me, then I have to, figure out how to reach this type of personality because it's not, you know, there's something for me to learn and I'm open to that and I need to take that on. So when I run into that again, it's a smoother transaction and a smoother friendship.
Yeah, and we all continue to learn, all of us. Even when I'm in the rooms with the Les Browns and the Mark Victor Hansons and Brian Tracy's and all, and they're always in the front row or they're sitting in the back, but they take more notes than anybody.
Always in the front row. I'm always in the front row. So,
Yeah.
and people are like, are you comfortable in the front row? I'm like, no, because you'll get asked for your story or asked why you're there, and then it's open to be on the stage. That's the
Yeah.
introduction to be on the
That's
stage,
what
right?
fun kids
If you
do.
if you know you have to do a lot of phone calls, then you sit in the back, take
Yeah.
notes, and not
Mm.
distract the room. But I always love being in the front. I used to not like being in the front, and then I realized I got more traction, more connections because I'm always it's funny, that's how I get a lot of selfies that way. I'm in the
Yeah.
front row talking to the other people in the audience and seeing what they do. And they're like, why are you here? You must be important if you're sitting in the front row. And I'm like, I am important, but I'm also not scared to sit in the front row.
Well, we say if a speaker happens to accidentally spit on you, it's like anointing. It's like baptism. You will go further. That's
That's
our
what
story.
happened at a
Stay
certain.
with it.
I got a funny story about front row, but it was we were at a Cirque du Soleil show in Las Vegas, but it was super late at night, and I'm the guy, and it was the water show. I fell asleep, and they were very annoyed, so the clowns were spraying me in the face with water.
Wow.
All right, and you're like the experience of being front row, Las Vegas, completely
Beautiful.
exhausted. I should be enjoying. I just like I got no energy left. So you can make fun of me. That is perfectly fine. I accept it. It's rite of passage to be front row.
If you use the word imagine before you said that, because see, some people are just good naturally, but just knowing why you're so, it's like you can bake a great cake, but you don't know how to teach somebody else how to do the same thing. If you use the word imagine that, you would have had all of us because everybody could see the clown squirting you water, and you can even
Imagine.
make
I
them
will
feel the
add that
water.
into my vocabulary. Okay, imagine. Okay,
Yeah.
perfect. I love that. I love that. Um, so let's talk. I see your sign in the back, JD3 TV, and I know you brought it up a little bit, but you must run into. Do people, do you ask people to be on your network or do people come to you because you have this network? Because this is kind of what we run into a lot with either the entertainment company that we have or YouTube is um, people ask for help. And then for what I do is I'm like, okay, let's go look at your analytics. Let's go look at your thumbnails. Let's go look at your descriptions and let's listen to it and
Yeah.
see what you have. You find because obviously JD3 TV, you've got people coming that already have they already built content or you train them to do all the recordings and then launch on your channel?
Hmm. Both of them.
Okay.
When the network, see, marketing will make you money, your branding will make you wealthy. So it's really about how do you separate yourself from everyone else who can has people can have the perception that you're like this person. So how to separate it out. Because when you can stream on Roku, Amazon, Apple, and Android TV and our own platform and then the apps, it takes it to another place. But the purpose of it was not to be another Netflix.
Okay.
We started it, and I started it and spent millions of dollars doing it out of my pocket, was to give a person access to create a community. Because in home-based business, that's all I've done is build teams. So I was really good at that and teaching people how to do that. And I like people, so they tend to like me back because I love everybody because some people I just have to love across the street. But I still love, but I don't allow somebody else shenanigans to drive me and my emotions. I like to be okay.
Mhm.
And so I wanted to create something so a person can look at their brand, get their content out, but also create a universe where, like your program, we can sell your program inside of there and sell it, and the community can get together. So we meet twice a month, and then we get together and see, okay, how do we help each other? How do we? I know somebody can help you do this. Okay, you have this program. How about we help market that and be an affiliate or be an ambassador for you, and vice versa. So, and then when someone purchases something for you, then they're in your database from the same network. So we wanted to do something just a little bit different and use the streaming to get to the end goal, which is to help people drive a community, teach them how to nurture it, and teach them how to communicate to that community.
Okay. So,
Yeah, they come to us and we go to them. We
okay.
offer it, and people come to us and they get referred to us as well, and they get paid for referral. So yeah, it kind of builds by itself.
Are they, I think are they bringing content that's all like, because
Yeah. Oh,
this is typically what we found with our entertainment company and then YouTube channels is that they have content, but it needs to be elevated or it needs to be more consistent. And
mhm.
then, not everybody's open for advice. Or they're like, oh, hey, I was trained to do it this way. Or my editor says this is amazing. And I'm like, well, this is why we need to, if you're not getting traction, if you're not getting the views, change it
Yeah.
up a little bit, change
Mhm.
the intro. It's like, are
Yeah.
people open? Do you find t typically when you're coaching people on their content, they're open for feedback and changing the format of their show or making change? The whole reason we like using YouTube is that the analytics speak for themselves, so we can tell after you've uploaded your first 10 or 20 episodes, we want them to do at least 13, which is like one Hollywood season, do 13 episodes, so then they have their season one, season two, season three, but batch record them, like do a drip campaign, so that way they don't lose steam. So they're constantly keep producing something. We can go look at the analytics and say, hey, viewer drops off every 30 seconds in the first 30 seconds or the first 3 minutes. So we just need to make some tweaks so we can, you know, improve things as we go. The larger your audience goes, we get more. You get analytics quicker from YouTube than you do from
Yeah.
Roku and from, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. You need much larger audiences on the typical podcast platforms to get good analytics, where YouTube's pretty much instantaneous within a couple days.
Yeah.
But of course, the feedback's there because you've got comments. So I think that my question really is like the best way to coach people, but empower them at the same time to say, hey, you got started, but you kind of got stuck because um, you found out that you just need to improve your show, the format, the pacing. Like all my experience is all my mentors are from Hollywood. So we've got the broadcast clock we go by, which is, there's usually commercials cut in between, but any Hollywood show that you've seen, it's structured the same way every single show, right? That
Yeah.
your 30 minutes is 23 minutes cut in with commercials, but it's structured a certain way. You introduce, it's structured. And if you follow that, you do exceptionally well on YouTube because people are used to structured programming from, ABC, Fox, but all the traditional platforms right now that are having issues because everything's going streaming and on demand. But
Yeah.
that structure worked for so long. And right now, when people are doing podcasts, if they don't have Hollywood training, if they don't act, I have acting training, I have all this training. It's like, how do you give people advice without upsetting what they've learned from their mentors already, right? Just in case, there's just a
Yeah.
couple little tweaks we need to do. Like editors can always be changed out. YouTube, not really even supposed to edit anything. You just throw it up there and you figure out what the analytics are, and then you're like, okay, this is what people like, this is what people don't like. We're going to take this in the future and keep and testing it, right?
Yeah. Well, first of all, I'm learning a lot listening to you because, first of all, people need you and your wife and what your company does. They need that, number one. They got to have that because then they're more apt to move based upon those hard numbers. I think the biggest challenge for most people is that they don't really, it's an internal thing, and everything comes from a place of really believing in yourself and being okay with the growth, even if it starts slow, to learn how to pivot and then not to take everything so personal and understand that even if you want to put grass seeds in the ground, it takes time. You're not going to have a lawn tomorrow. And you got to do some maintenance and water that dirt and keep people from tracking on it, or you won't have it long anyway. So it's two sides of the coin. Definitely, like I think I would recommend clients to you um, because you can give them that. Because YouTube is important. My thing is really teaching people how to monetize what they have.
Hmm.
And you can get ads if you can reach a tremendous amount of reach a big audience. You can get some advertisers and things like that. But then you have to continue to get advertisers to do that. So
Hmm.
nothing wrong with that. So we try to teach people how to start there. We just don't teach what you teach. What we teach people is how to create that content in their kitchen
Hmm.
because a lot of great production is lighting.
Yep. Oh
When
yeah.
it comes to, yeah.
That's
And
advanced. Lighting and microphone is kind of advanced. I just want people to get, it's like
yeah.
I didn't want to cut you off there, but it was
Mhm.
we're gonna wrap this up in 10 minutes. And monetization, this is all we're about, and it's your message as well.
Mhm.
Um, the monetize, it's not just, I'm like, yes, you can when you I see monetization in all formats of monetization because I'm a business owner. So I'm like, how does my effort in going into this make me some ROI, whether it's increased presence in front of customers, increased authority. I show up on Google search, I show up on Yahoo search. AI is big right now. How do we make sure that you and your show up on an AI search? So that's why we're like, hey,
Mhm.
make, we call this YouTube. I am YouTube famous just because I'm YouTube monetized. The famous, I'm working on that every single day. This is why I travel and meet wonderful individuals like yourself because the only way to grow a business is really to meet more people and get your
Yeah.
message out there and see if you resonate with them because the personality thing we talked about, I don't resonate with everybody. People tell me to my face all the time they don't like my messaging and I work too hard. And I'm like, I can only travel where I travel because I work so hard and because people are asking me for advice, right?
Yeah. Mhm.
How do I fix this? How do I fix this? How do I fix this? And I'm like, this is what we do. Get yourself in front of the camera, get training from James or myself or whomever you know who will give you training because you need to get in front of get in front of people, get in front of the camera.
Yeah.
Get that stuff on YouTube, but not just YouTube, repurpose it everywheres because the more consistent you are with your videos, and our homework, our classes really make one video per week that's long form, 5 minutes or longer. One video per week. That's the basic step. Get started, then add the shorts in, then add the lives in, but make sure that stuff shows up everywhere and you're consistent because we know what the internet does. The more consistent you are, people will see you more often. If they like you, they're going to follow you. They're going to share your stuff with their family and friends. But the more consistent you are, YouTube will then start making high authority backlinks for you. So they'll start when somebody searches you on Google, Google search may one day become just dominated with your YouTube videos. Facebook
Mhm.
doesn't do that. Instagram doesn't do that. TikTok. All these social media platforms are walled gardens. You need a username and password to access them, right? So that stuff doesn't really show up on Google search, but YouTube does. And also with AI search, um, YouTube is one of the it's like I think 18 to 20% of AI searches rely on like because YouTube is all your titles and your descriptions are all text. So AI is looking for information. It literally indexes website third-party websites, Reddit, Wikipedia, and YouTube. Anything that's all text-based, that's what AI loves, right? Because it cuts out all the garbage, all the pictures, all the ads. AI is strict info straight up information. But AI also wants to make sure that you show up on your website, media partner websites, press release websites, YouTube, all these other places. And you just, by being consistent, pushing videos once a week, you're just building up your compounding, the compounding effect. You're building your authority across everywheres, which is a form of monetization because the more places you show up, the more people find out about you. If if you've got proper links to your web, if, you could use YouTube as your website and just have links to your your store, your subscription service on jd3tv.net, wherever you want. You're just using YouTube really as a funnel to where the top of your funnel. Right? Where do you want people are going to go watch your videos? If they like you, they want to buy your stuff, they're going to go to whatever website you send them to. That's monetization.
Yeah.
If you get the views, you need a lot of views on YouTube, right? So it's 1,000 subscribers. We can help you with that, James. I haven't even looked at your YouTube, so we'll fix it
I don't
in the
even
future.
know.
4,000. So the 1,000 subscribers, 4,000 watch hours every
Mhm.
single year,
Mhm.
and which really isn't that much, but it's a very, very, very small club. It comes
Yeah.
with discipline and always producing content.
Yeah.
Um, but then you do get if you get enough views on YouTube, you can get the revenue. I don't guarantee revenue for anybody because when you start getting it and it's pennies that turn into nickels, that turn into dimes, that turn into dollars,
Mhm.
it does not seem worth it. But I'm
Yeah.
promising you 5 years down the road, when you're disciplined and making content every single week, you're going to be like, wow, it is now worth it because it has replaced my main income,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
Oh, I just see monetization everywhere. It's because I was
Yeah.
like, oh, hey, for example, we're doing a garage sale. I got the whole reason I got banned off Facebook this week. I think Darlene's in the room and her daughter Jennifer also got banned off Facebook. Um, Even with being meta verified, I got kicked off. Um, but I was listing stuff for garage sale on Marketplace. And then we got kicked off. So I'm like, I have to repost 100 items on my wife's Facebook. That's fine, whatever. I'll do the work just to sell my stuff. But then I was like, I realized yesterday the sales process. It just clued into me. It just clicked in because people show up for one thing and it's like a $5 item, but they'll leave with a $75 item because you had that rapport with them. You asked them what else they needed, and they're like, "What do you got?" And I'm like, "I don't even haven't even taken photos of this stuff, but everything you see in this garage is for sale. What do you need?" So somebody wanted, car accessories. And I'm like, "Hey, do you need a car jack?" They're like, "Yeah." I'm like, $50. They're like, "Sure." So it's just like talking to them, having a conversation. They came in for a small ticket item, they left for a big ticket item.
Mm-mm. What's she doing? Oh, tell her I'm sorry. I typed it wrong.
No, no,
There you
no,
go.
no, no, that's okay. I wasn't looking at
No, no,
I was
no.
not looking at the
I'm looking at
chat.
the chat. I'm looking at the chat. Okay, there you go. Whew.
Yeah,
Type it incorrect.
we got 4 minutes left. Does anybody have I have to leave because I have to drive an hour to my house to go do to keep selling stuff out of my garage. Does anybody have any questions for my friend James before we end this week's session of YouTube University?
Before they do,
Go
someone
ahead.
asked if you
Go
get my
ahead.
name. So I just type my name in there because it keeps reverting back to JD3 Ventures, another company. It's jd3tv.com or limitlesstv.net. That will get you there. Sorry, I
Yeah,
typed,
you
typed
you
it
just
first.
did you just rename it or is it a different venture?
I renamed it. We were transferring the name from JD3. I'm James Dentley III. From my name to Limitless TV. Our focus groups like Limitless TV. We just haven't changed everything because we have subscribers on jd3tv.com. So I don't want to disrupt that. So it's limitlesstv.net or jd3tv.com will get you to the same place. But I'm going to be referring clients to you. So we've got to talk. I really like what
Well,
you're
I know,
talking
I know.
about.
And you asked me when I
Yeah.
was on my flight to Dubai in January,
Yeah.
you gotta tell me about Mind Valley event. And it's like,
Yeah.
it was eye-opening and we haven't had a chat, but I saw you in Chicago and I was like, wait a minute, we haven't had our follow-up discussion. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna make sure I got an accurate phone
Yeah.
number with you and take a selfie with you. And then I'm like, you've got a TV platform, we have an entertainment company. There's more stuff with YouTube Famous. I got access to we're building like this we're building this media company because I got so many friends saying, "Hey, can you get me listed here? Can you get me listed here?" I'm like, "Yes, but make content and there's a lot of fun stuff we can do with your business, but I don't want to um make you stressed out." Baby steps. There's a lot of stuff we can do with getting you on the internet and being found, but you need to make content. And everybody in this class is already making content or they're about to pull the trigger and start because I know everybody's working on their setups with their cameras, with their lighting. And I'm like, it's not going to be perfect day one, and it may not be perfect 3 months in, but you're going to find two, as long as you're disciplined and do it every single week,
Yeah.
you just got to keep putting the reps in and learning new great things from everybody, right? And not getting disappointed when things technology fails and you get a strike on YouTube or any of the bad stuff that comes up. It just comes up because you're supposed to mentally and emotionally learn to get over that challenge that pops up in the road and keep on going, right?
Well, pretty good. I'm going to recommend people to you. Trust me. I also train actors and models with the VIP Ignite. So all
Yeah.
over.
Well, I was trained by HBO. I was trained by actresses at HBO,
Perfect.
but that was during COVID when everybody was kind of out of work.
Okay.
Right.
Hey,
And then they're like, why do you travel so much? I'm like, to meet amazing people like you and figure out how I can help you. So it may not be technology, it might be something else. I'll come build, I can come fix whatever. If I'm in your city, like my friend, like everybody knows, I come to your house, we chat for a couple days, and if you got something and I need to fix that you don't have the ability to fix, I fix it for you. Like wine fridges, clean up your yard. I'm that type of guy. I just like learning from everybody's experiences and building our connections further because it's so much cooler visiting somebody's city and having a chat with somebody at their house than, being by yourself in a hotel room. So,
yeah. Yeah. There you
okay.
have it.
But my wife's telling me to wrap it up, so we're gonna end the transmission for today, but we'll be back next Saturday, 9 a.m. Eastern, same place. You're welcome to drop in anytime, James, because I know we need to chat more about what you're doing and how we can help you. So,
Well, thank you so much. I'm going to bring my tribe, my community,
yeah.
and introduce them to everybody here. Thank you.
Do you have any last tips before we close it down?
Any last tips?
Wrap it 1 minute. No pressure.
Make it not a problem. Um, well, first of all, just follow your dreams wherever they may lead. Never ever get distracted by less worthy deeds. Remember to shelter them and nourish them and help them to grow, and let your heart hold them down deep where dreams grow. Follow your dreams, pursue them with haste. Remember and never forget that your life, your message is precious and too fleeting to waste. So be faithful and be loyal in all your days through. The dreams that you follow will always come true. So you got.
Thank you so much, sir. You have yourself an amazing weekend, and I'll
You.
chat. I'll text you once we're done our estate sale, because then I'm heading back to your country. We're just in Canada for like 2 weeks. It's because we
Oh,
got
cool.
business to do, and then escape the snow.
There you go. Well, I'm doing a commencement speech in about an hour.
Okay. Have a great day. You'll kill it.
All
Bye.
right. Have a good day. Bye bye.